So Tiffany Stratton, she beats Jade Cargill at SummerSlam in a forgetful match, and a match that no one is going to really remember. You know, from the first time watching it, it was solid. It wasn't a bad match. It wasn't really uh, an exciting match, but it was passable, which is not good enough. You know, passable is poor to me. And these two ladies definitely could have stepped it up that night. But, however, the match was what it was. But I want to talk to you about Jade Cargill's build-up, her momentum these last, I would say the last year and a half, right? Just her booking when it comes down to, you know, being built up. And this is what the WWE does. They tend to build up talent that seems promising. They got some momentum going on. You know, they want to put the whole machine behind them. Like, they build them up only to tear them down, right? They give these talents these big wins leading up to the match that is supposed to crown them a world champion, or that one match that is supposed to solidify that star, that talent. And once they get to that very match, they pull the rug from out underneath that talent. They say, nope, not today. They dangle the carrot in front of their face, and they get the hopes up of these talents, thinking that they're going to get their big break on a big stage like SummerSlam, only to find out that we're not going to go with you just yet. And the thing with Jade Cargill is, regardless if she's ready or not, me personally, I think she needs more time to be seasoned. And for me, right, the best way to get her seasoned and to give her more experience, you got to put her in NXT. I would have had her dominate in NXT for a whole year, right? Win the NXT Women's Championship and go on this dominant streak. In NXT, Shawn Michaels is making sure that his women are getting the best training. He's making sure that they are becoming seasoned by the time they get up to that main roster. He's getting them prepped. He wants to make sure that these ladies are outperforming the men on the main roster. He ain't trying to have his ladies be slacking on Raw and SmackDown. And Jade Cargill could have really benefited from being in NXT for a whole year. And the thing with Jade Cargill, in AEW, the standard for her was different, right? Because the women's division in AEW was still trying to establish itself. And Jade, to me, she stood out a lot from the rest of the ladies. And she already had that it factor going for her. The first ever TBS champion. And she was on a dominant streak. She was on a winning streak, right? That's how I would have booked her in NXT. And on the main roster, her booking is just, it's not matching up to what or how she was presented in AEW. And when I look back at it, her AEW run was a lot better. Say what you will about her in-ring ability, or limited in-ring ability in AEW at that time. To me, she had the it factor. She looked presentable. She looked like a star. She had that presence that you can't really teach, that aura. And that's something the AEW women's division really needed, okay? And listen, she was putting on passable matches. She didn't really need to wrestle 20-minute matches to prove herself. But in WWE, it's a whole different ball game, right? They need Jade Cargill to meet up a standard. And to them, the reason why she lost at SummerSlam was because she's not matching up to that standard, or should I say, meet up to that standard. And so it doesn't matter what I think in terms of her being ready for that top spot. My thing is you put her in these matches with Asuka, with Naomi, right? You put her in that queen of the ring tournament, and you have her beat everybody. You have her beat Naomi. You're building her up for the women's championship match to have her eventually win it, right? Okay, you have her win Queen of the Ring. That's designed to have her beat Tiffany at SummerSlam and see where it all goes. The problem is you build up talent, you build up these stars only to have them lose the big match. So it's like, what was the point of building up Jade Cargill this whole time? I don't understand that whole logic. But this is what the WWE does. They do this to a lot of talent that has a lot of potential, that's promising. They got momentum. They did the same thing to Bray Wyatt 10 years ago. Rest in peace to Bray. They did him dirty very much when he was on his way to the top. Let's not forget. They did the same thing to LA Knight. They did the same thing to a lot of stars. A Damian Sandow years ago. You know, they did that to what's his face? Man, they've done it to so many names, so many talents that were on their way. And they halted their momentum. They built them up. They went on a hot streak. They looked strong. And then boom, they get knocked down a few pegs. And with Jade Cargill, that was another instance. That was another example, a blatant example of building up a talent and tearing them down. Now, with Jade being ready for that big title reign, who really knows at this point if she was ready? The fact of the matter is, this is what the WWE does to, I guess you can say, humble their talent. But it's like, at the same time, why are you tearing down talent that you are building up? You're promoting them, you're making them look strong, and you're trying to convince the audience that this is the next big thing. Okay, so instead of cowering out the last minute, instead of getting cold feet, how about you follow through on that promise of making them that next big thing? How about you follow through on that push? They could have given Jay the women's championship. And the thing about it is, Tiffany Stratton has not been impressive a lot lately. She has not really improved a lot. I thought she was a few months ago, but nah, lately her promos have been trash. And she's not meeting a standard either. Right? But understand this is what they do. And they do it to a lot of our favorites. That they get that strong push, and then when you think they're about to get their big break, they pull the rug from out underneath them. They don't do it with they don't do it with all the talent. Like with Brock Lesnar in 2002, they gave him everything. They gave him a push of a lifetime. He was beating everybody, the top names, everybody. With Roman Reigns initially, the crowd did not want him. You know, in that case, it was a lot different with Roman Reigns. But when it came to the talent that the fans wanted to see, you basically just you squashed them. Like you basically just dangled a carrot in front of their face and said, "Nah, we're not gonna go with you. You know, we're just going to lay low and cool off on you for a bit. They do this to a lot of talent. And it gets very frustrating to watch it sometimes because it's like, what's the point of giving this person everything now? Like, if they fail and they suck in their title reign, okay, at least you gave them a shot. At least you know, okay, they can't deliver when it comes down to winning the world championship. They didn't meet the standard, okay, move on. But at least you gave them that shot. And at least you pulled the trigger when it was time. And they don't always strike when the iron is hot. And that's the biggest mistake that this company can make.